Okay, good day everyone. Today we have an exciting problem now. We'll be doing missing views. And this problem right here is given by Sir Jepoy of Triple M. And this was actually given last academic year, no? Second sem of last year. Okay, so let's start. So this is missing views. And in this problem, we are given two views, HRP and PRP. And we are to find the missing view FRP as well as provide the isometric view of the object. Okay. Now, um, if you think about it, missing views is actually a lot similar to the second exam topic, which is yung multi-view projection to isometric drawing, no? And the reason I say that because it's more or less the same, no? You have multi-view projections given, and then you draw an isometric view. The key difference being, and obviously, is because there is one view that is missing, no? And I think personally, this makes it a lot easier, no? So, in my own opinion, I feel like missing views is a lot simpler or a lot easier than the multi-view projection to isometric drawings, simply because you are free to imagine yung third view natin. Okay, so you are not as restricted, no, as the typical na multi-view, three views given, then drawing a isometric view. The downside is that because there is a missing view, parang mas mahirap ma-imagine yung object. But in general, no, even if you have only two views, you can readily imagine 3D objects in space, no, as long as there are two given views. And we can deduce the dimensions of the third view by using those two given views. So again, personally for me, I think missing views should be easier, no, because of you don't have that much of a restriction as compared to the original missing view. And and speaking of restrictions, no, the good thing about missing views is because if there are certain aspects of the drawing that you feel you can simplify in the missing view, then by all means we can simplify, no, and this will make drawing the object a lot easier. So again, for me personally, missing views seems a lot easier, no. Now, there are two cases for missing view. The first case being when you have your missing view adjacent to two views, to the two given views, no, or meaning it is in between the two given views. And this is the case right here, no, where in our missing view is FRP, and it is in between two given views. So that's case one, and this is the easier case, no, because if I take, for example, this point right here, and naka-on ba yung snapping ko? Let me check. Naka-on naman. So if I take this point right here and project it, and that point is this point in PRP, and I can just also project it here where they intersect, and they still follow the rules for projection, no? This is the projection line for that point. Let's call it say point 1. So this point 1 right here is along this projection line, and this point 1 is also along this projection line, meaning that in FRP it should be located in this particular point. Okay, so that is the simpler case, no, where in case 1 we have a missing view in between two given views. Now the harder case would be case 2, wherein kapag yung missing view natin is only adjacent to one of the given views, no. So for example, if it's HRP yung given, HRP yung missing, tapos FRP and PRP yung given, then we can only make one direct projection line from FRP towards HRP. And to get the projection lines from PRP to HRP, we need to use what we call as a mitre line, no? And you can read more about it in the slides, no. I think the modules have the given modules in Ovle. They have we have a slide there showing how you can do case 2, no. But in this case, since we are doing case 1, mas madali ito. We can just make projection lines and find the different points. And from those points, pwedeng mabuild natin yung object natin. Okay? So, let's take a look at our object. And the object is a sort of simple object lang siya, no? It's a sort of diamond or a gem. Tapos, and itong gem na yun is fairly symmetrical, no? If you look at it, it actually has a parang six-fold symmetry, no? So we can use this to our advantage because if the object is symmetrical, then we can focus on one of the repeating elements of that object. Tapos, i-build natin yung repeating element na yon. And then we can just replicate it as we go along and complete the object. No? And in our case, the repeating element would be this one. No? If you take a look at this one group here. Oh, sorry. Hindi masyadong kita, no? Let me tikan ko na lang yung line konti. Siguro ganyan. And we can do L weight. Display line weight. Yan. And this should be, yan. Mas kita na siya, no? Okay. Wait lang. Ba't hindi kita? Ba tayo? Ay, dami na pala. Natago pala siya. Wait lang Let me just redo this. Dami na palang lines na na-create, no? Nasa ilalim lang pala siya ng ano natin. Okay. Let me just quick redo my layers, no? Let me hide objects real quick. Ito, delete ko muna, no? Isolate and object isolation. Tapos, gawa lang ako ng panibagong layer, no? Para hindi ako nalilito. Saan nga ito? Wait lang, ha? Here. Layer properties. Let me just add a new layer. Para ba ito ma-rearrange? Let's do yellow. Okay. Sorry about that. Sige, try natin ulit. Let's do layer 1. Lock na natin itong si sorry. Let's lock let's lock layer 0 na. Okay. And now I should be able to draw. Ay, kaso nasa baba yung Okay. Alright, sige. Sorry about that. So, again, ang gagawin natin is we take this triangle right here. Itong repeating unit na to. This group of triangles right here. Tapos, try natin hanapin siya dito sa natin, sa FRP. Okay? So, this one right here, if you look at it, usually, typically, when I do this kinds of problems, I usually like to create a sketch first. So, the sketch is a very helpful tool, even in yung sa exam 2, when we're trying to draw the isometric drawing. I usually prefer na meron akong sketch first of the object, then I draw the isometric view and use the sketch as a guideline. And I highly encourage you to do that as well as exam. It will save you a lot of time. But in this case, well, hindi ko kasi hawak yung ko ngayon, yung drawing tablet, so hindi ko mapapakita yung sketch. But since the object is relatively easy, I think we can imagine this fairly easy, no? Okay, so let's look at yung repeating unit natin, itong one group of triangle right here. And if you look at it, para makikita natin na meron siyang 3 elements, no? So, yung first element or yung first face, I would say, is this trapezoid right here. Itong trapezoid na to, this is this trapezoid, no? Yung para paangat siya papunta dun sa taas. So, it's inclined upwards. Tapos, meron tayong small triangle. Ito. This small triangle right here is parang inclined downwards naman siya, moving towards the center. So, it's here, no? Ito siya. So, it's a triangle moving towards the center. Ito. Inclined pa baba. And meron siyang yung larger triangle, no? Na in this particular view, sa top view, hindi siya dapat kita, no? Parang hidden line siya, pero it's overlapping itong large triangle na to, no? So kaya hindi kita yung mga broken lines. But that large triangle right there is the one at the bottom, no? Yung moving downwards papunta sa baba, which is this one right here, moving downwards papunta sa baba. And it's all converging into one point dito sa parang base natin, no? So, technically, parang hindi stable tong object na to if you really think about it, no? Kasi parang it wouldn't be parang standing on top or standing stably dito sa ground natin kasi magta-topple over siya. Pero okay lang. We can accept that, no, for now. Okay? So those are our three faces, no, or three elements. So we have a trapezoid, we have a small triangle, and we have a large triangle. And ang goal lang natin dito is we focus on the repeating units and we build that parang first repeating unit na to. Tapos once na hanap na natin siya dito, we can sort of just connect the dots later on, no? Okay? So let's start with this point first. Itong point na to. So let's make a projection line. So the projection line should be perpendicular to the fold line. So we make that projection, and this point right here is actually itong point na to, no? So pag ganyan siya. So that point is this point right here. And we can do the same for this point. Ito. And where it intersects, siya din yun, no? Kasi if you think about it, itong buong group of triangle na to is actually this parang edge view na to, no? If you look at this one from, and let me color it with a different line and hopefully mas makita siya, no? If I take this line, pag ganyan, this line, and this line, that will actually, and hindi siya nakalito. I forgot to command. Is it L? Let me remember the code, no? The command. Draw order ata. Draw order, and let's bring it above objects. Ito. Hindi pa rin. Oh, sorry. Let me try again, no? Ito. Draw order. Tapos, ilagay natin send to back itong object na to. Ayan. Okay. And let me lock the given, no? So parang ganyan. So if you look at this one, no, itong red na lines, this is actually the edge view of this group right here. Itong group of triangles na to. And the trapezoid. So ito trapezoid plus the triangle. Ito siya, itong parang repeating unit natin is actually this one right here na naka-edge view siya. So ang goal natin is madrawing natin yung parang group na yon, and from there we can build our object, no? Okay? So we found this point, and this point. Nandito na siya. Hanapin naman natin itong point na to and this point right here. Okay? So we can just let me use yellow again. Let's bring it down like so. Tapos ganyan. And this part of the trapezoid is yung nandito, no? Ito siya. Itong level na to. So we can draw another projection line, and where it meets the other projection lines, ito yung top ng trapezoid natin. So this trapezoid and this trapezoid. So we can now connect it, no? So this is the bottom part of the trapezoid. The top of the trapezoid connecting to the bottom. And if we clean it up para mas makita natin like so, makikita natin na ito na yung trapezoid natin. So this is that trapezoid shown in the front view, and itong trapezoid na to shown as an edge view in the PRP. Okay? So okay na tayo sa trapezoid. Now let's try to draw the small triangle, no? Ito. And we've noted na si small triangle is moving inside, no? Parang paloob siya. And therefore, pag paloob siya, and it's converging actually at the center, no? Itong center na to. And all of the smaller triangles are also converging at that center. So kailangan natin mahanap itong parang point na to, no? Okay? So it's converging at the center, and if you're looking at it from the front view, then it should be at the back, no? So dapat na naka-hidden line siya. Okay? So let's try to find the center. So it's along this projection line, pag ganyan. And we can just project this center right here. Punta dyan. And where it meets the projection line here, that is where the center is located, no? Pag ganyan. And let me just delete this para mas clear siya. And again, sabi natin, this should be a hidden line, no? So parang ganyan siya. Okay? So dapat hidden siya, papasok doon sa likod if you're looking at it from the front view. Okay, so we're done with the yung trapezoid, done na rin tayo sa small triangle. Ang kulang na natin is yung large na triangle, no? Which is, sabi natin kanina, inclined downward siya papunta dun sa parang floor natin where itong center point na to where the diamond is sitting on top of. Itong parang resting point niya. Okay, so ito hanapin na lang natin. And to find that, create lang tayo ng projection line. Tama? And this point right here also matches with the projection, with the itong center point, no? Tama? So if you draw it downwards, dire-diretso, nandyan siya. So now we can just connect point na to and itong point na to. Right? And let me delete this para mas nakita natin. So we can see na complete na yung parang repeating unit natin, no? And this is again 6-fold symmetry siya. It's just repeated 6 times, no? Para mabuo yung object. Right? So we're done with this first image right here. And by the way, itong nakikita natin sa PRP, itong 2 groups na to, so we have sa left side and meron tayong sa right side, no? Is actually itong, if I can draw it here, no? I'll draw it here. Ito siya. This is the left side part. So lahat ng itong nakikita natin dito sa left side. Yan yung left side na ano. Tapos doon naman sa right, ito siya. Ito sa right side. So kaya nakikita natin yung center line na to na parang may isang line dyan. That is because of this line right here. Okay? So hopefully you can imagine ito. Right? So next is try naman natin i-buuin itong other parts. No? So makikita dapat natin sa right side view is, sa front view is itong purple na group na to. And we can also see another group, and I'll just color it green, no? Dapat may green group dito, no? Ito. Kita din siya, litaw din siya dito. And since it's symmetrical, whatever is yung madodrawing natin dito sa part na to will also be the same as ito draw natin dito. Right? So, let's try to find this parang purple group na to, no? So, itong group na to, it's the same line. So, same as before, try natin hanapin yung trapezoid muna. Then we find the small triangle, then the big triangle. Okay, so I'm doing it by parts, no? And notice how after nakuha ko na yung parang sort of anchor ko, no? This is parang my anchor. Parang from there, dun ko na mag-network out, stem up outwards yung drawing ko using parang a sort of connect the dots na approach, no? Okay? And burahin ko lang yung, sige, kahit huwag nang burahin yung projection lines. Kasi magagamit pa rin natin yan eh. Okay? So, try natin drawing itong trapezoid ulit. Ito, so, itong part na to is already this part. So, okay na yan. So, hanapin na lang natin this point and this point. Tama? So, let's try to find this point. So, if I move downwards and let me just, pag ganyan, move downwards where it intersects itong projection line natin, which is the projection line for all of the parang base of the trapezoid. So we can find it na nandito na siya. So that is our point. Ang kailangan lang natin hanapin is this point right here. Okay? And this point right here, if we bring it down, this also coincides with this projection line, no? Parang ganyan. And therefore, where it intersects with the top of the trapezoid, which is this whole projection line right here, nandito lahat ng mga top of the trapezoids, I can now connect this one and this one. Tama? Parang ganyan. So this is now my trapezoid, no? And if I delete, let me just trim para mas malinaw siya, no? Etong trapezoid na to is now this trapezoid right here. Okay? So we have found the trapezoid. Next natin hanapin is the small triangle, no? Yung triangle na papasok doon sa loob. Right? So this line of that small dito muna tayo. Itong line na to is the top part of the trapezoid. So ito na siya. Itong line na to is actually this line, no? It's shared by the adjacent triangle. Kailangan natin is this line right here. And this line connects from this part of the trapezoid, which is this one, papunta doon sa center. So we can just easily connect this one, no? Pag ganyan. And this should be a broken line kasi nasa likod siya, no? It's hidden. So dito siya. Right? So buo na rin yung small triangle natin, which is this one. And now, ang need na lang natin would be yung bottom triangle, no? Which is this one, right? So the bottom triangle is just simply connecting this point with this point. Tama? So if I connect this one and this one, I should have found my bottom triangle now. Right? Ganyan. So we've done the right side. Ang kailangan lang natin itong parang green group na to. And it's similar to how we did this one, no? And we can just extend yung projection line na to. Do the same steps. Pababa. Ito. Yan. And this connects downwards. This connects. And I'm doing this quite fast na, no? Kasi I have already imagined kung or I have already drawn the other side, which is since symmetrical lang siya, parang madideduce na natin kung ano yung overall shape niya. Okay, and that's a good thing about symmetrical objects kasi once you've done one part, parang madali na gawin yung kasunod na part even without parang more of connecting the dots na lang talaga yung approach. Okay, so ito, connect the dots natin dyan. I'll trim this down, raise natin, and last is yung small triangle sa loob, no, which is this one. And again, ito should be a hidden line. Okay, parang ganyan. And let's clean it up. Erase ko lang yung mga projection lines natin. And we have found this is now the hidden view, no? Right? So, yan yung hidden view natin. Okay. Tapos, meron pa ba siyang hidden lines brought about by the dun sa backside? Wala na, no? Kasi nagko-coincide na yung mga other hidden lines sa backside with the other lines na kita naman, or with the solid lines na kita sa front side. Okay? So, we're done with the hidden view. Ang kailangan na lang natin is buuin yung isometric view, no? Which is the challenging part na lang siguro dito sa hidden views, no? Although, finding the hidden views is a bit challenging, pero I would say na parang mas mahirap pa rin mag-drawing ng isometric view, no? But with this object, I think we can do it, no? So, gawin natin. And let me just remove. Pwede ko bang i-delete lang to diretso? Pwede. Okay. Since nakalock naman yung given ko. Alright. So, ang gagawin natin is para mas matulungan tayo buuin yung isometric, draw natin yung extents ng yung boundaries ng different multi-views natin, no? Para ma-create natin yung glass box natin. Okay. So, I can just create this one. So, ito. I'm just drawing the boundaries, no? Ganyan. I should probably use a different color for this, pero sige, okay lang. And so just trim ko na lang to later on. Okay, so I'm doing this para may basis ako doon sa for when I draw my isometric view. Okay, parang ganyan. Okay, so gagawin natin is we have the marker right here. So this is already 30 degrees na to, no? And if I check with my itong compass ko dito, it's 150, which is 130 from the horizontal. Ganyan. Let's create 30. Yan. Tapos, kaya tayo. Ganyan. And let's copy this distance. So, I'm using circles dito, no, para to copy distances. So, this is like you using your compass. Right. Probably sa recording, hindi ko alam kung isi-speed up ko ba to or not, or pwedeng times 2 na lang. Yun na lang pagka nanonood kayo ng recording. No? Okay? Sorry. Ba't ko dinilit? Dapat. Hindi ko muna. Ito lang muna tinrim ko dapat. Okay? And then, let's measure the width. This is the front view. So, ito ay yung nandito. Tama? And it has different dimensions on all sides, no? Or square ba tong ano? Different dimensions nga. All three x, y, and z have different dimensions. Okay? So, gawin natin is buuin natin yung glass box. I can draw a vertical line. Another vertical line. Tapos, ito, parallel to this one. And this one is parallel to this. Okay? Tapos, ito naman parallel to this. And this last line is parallel to this line. Oh, parallel to this line. Right. So, yan yung ano natin. Okay? So, I think the easiest way to do this is find the center, no? Itong munang point na to. If you can find this point and find this point, para mas mabilis na natin mabuo from kumbaga ma-form outwards yung object natin. Okay? So, this is just a geometric center lang to, no? So, if I do ganyan, I know it's at the geometric center, ito. Pero, it's 1 unit downward, or this unit downward. Pababa, tama? So, ito dapat I can use this measurement. And again, hopefully, very familiar na kayo dito, no? We can only measure distances kapag yung distance na yon is perpendicular, parallel to the primary views, no? So, meaning yung x, y, and z natin. So, if it's parallel to those primary axes, then pwede natin siyang i-measure. Okay? So, measuring downwards. From the center, ito, measure tayo downwards. Nandito yung ano natin, yung parang center point, itong nasa gitna na ano, nung parang gem natin or yung diamond natin. Okay? So, let's mark it with a point, no, para hindi natin makalimutan. Okay? And I can probably change this to a different color para mas maalala ko na yung center. Tapos, next is hanap tayo ng yung pinakababa, no? And yung pinakababa na center is just same case dito sa baba, no? Kung paano natin hinanap yung geometric center. And probably I can draw ganyan. And find it's like so. And let me just trim. Tapos ito naman, para mahanap ko lang yung geometric center doon sa floor. I'll just do this. And ito yun. And let me just mark this point as well, no? The point, and let's give it a different color para for visual purposes, mas madali natin mahanap. So let's just delete this, no? Itong mga guide natin. For now. Kasi hindi natin siya kailangan. So, basta we know that this point right here is this point. Ito. Tapos this point right here is this point. And then that will make it a lot easier to draw the different elements, no? Okay. So, let's try to draw, I think the easiest way is to draw the big triangles muna, no? Kasi if we draw the big triangles here, ito, mas madali natin mahahanap yung other elements, no? And to do that, para ma-drawing natin yung big triangles, hanapin natin itong mga points na to. Yung lahat na nakadikit dito sa glass box, no? Kasi if we can find where it attaches to the glass box, pwede natin i-connect diretso papunta dito sa baba. And that will build the parang bottom triangles natin, yung mga big triangles. Right? So, let's try to find ito muna. So, this is parang 1 unit to the left. So, let's just copy this distance. And I'll mark it. Let's copy ko din yung same distance kasi gagamitin din natin yun. Yan. Tapos, it's 1 unit pababa din siya, no? So, it's this unit. This much. And it's the same distance din pala para siyang square. Okay, so I can measure 1 unit. Dapat pala ito yung minark ko. Hindi pababa. Same case dito. And ginagawa ko siya sabay, no? Kasi I know it's symmetrical. So, mas madali ko masundan. Pero you can do it one by one, no? Okay? So, ito, mark ko lang ng point to para lang mas maalala ko. Ito, pwede ko i-delete. Hindi ko na kailangan to. Right? So, ito, this one should attach to this one. And mukhang ang mangyayari dito is it will create an optical illusion. Hindi naman. Parang gaganyan siya. That's the first bottom triangle. Parang ganyan. Tama? So, itong this one. Itong triangle na to. This is that triangle to. Right? Now, let's find itong point na to. We find it this here. Pwede natin hanapin yun na dito, no? Okay? So, it's the same elevation as this one. Ito. So, if we copy this distance. And it's also the, same distance siya, pero it's measured from the center, no? Ito. So, we find the center here. So, we can measure this distance right here. Measure natin yan dyan. Tapos, again, ito copy natin to. We can measure it from this point right here. Tama? Parang ganyan. So, if I measure from there, saan siya na, saan siya nag-intersect, ito. Yan yung location ng point na to. This point right here. Tama? So, I can connect this one and this one, which is essentially itong line na to. Then, I'll connect this line and towards the bottom. Now, I can find the this triangle right here. Ito. Right? So, next is hanapin natin yung equivalent na dito, no? Ito, yung ka-equivalent niya dito sa kabilang side. Many ways to do this. I think the fastest way is just to draw parallel lines. So, I'll draw a parallel line papunta dyan. I'll draw a parallel line papunta dito. Then, I'll move downwards. Same distance as this one. Pag ganyan. Again, maybe there are faster ways to do this, no? Pero I think this is the fastest way. Yata. And it meets here, no? Like so. So, ito siya. Ito naman yung sa back side naman. Right? So, ito. And we can remove the guidelines first, no? Ito. Tapos, this point right here connects to this point, tama? Which is this line right here. So, we can connect. Ito. Tapos, and probably, ang last na lang natin is, kailangan is yung this point right here, no? Yung opposite side doon sa kabila. So, I'll just make a parallel line. Diretso ko lang. Pag ganyan. Tapos, I'll measure from the center point. So, ito. Measure this distance at the center. Tapos, draw lang ako ng line going downwards and where it intersects. Yan dapat yung point ko. And I can connect this one and this one. Right? So, let me just remove some of the, para lang for visual purposes. Hindi kayo malilito. And probably we can connect this. Although, baka matatago pa yan kasi maakyat pa tayo eh. Okay? So, we found itong first na parang hexagon na to, no? So, ito siya. Tapos, hanapin natin yung second hexagon na to para mahanap natin yung top layers or top lines ng natin, yung mga trapezoids. Tama? Tapos, I think that's the easiest approach. Kasi if we can draw, the way I imagine ito is para magdodrawing tayo and probably baka pwede ko ipakita dito. Mapilisan lang, no? So, parang gagawin natin is if we have a hexagon here, tapos create tayo ng another hexagon na smaller kasi it should be smaller, no? Scale. Kuwari ganyan. So, ito yung smaller hexagon. And just try to imagine na nasa space to, no? it's in space. So if I connected this one, itong mga ganito, yeah, yung mga corners or vertices of the hexagon, I should form the, I don't know, yung parang mga trapezoids na to. Ito. So that's the goal, no? Nahanap na natin itong bottom na larger hexagon, which is this one. If mahanap natin yung second na hexagon sa taas, then connect na lang natin and we can find the trapezoids. And mabubuo na natin yung ano natin, yung kumbaga second layer natin. Tapos yung kailangan na natin problemahin na layer is actually the inside portion right here, no? Right? So hopefully this makes sense. Right? So gagawin natin is hanapin natin yung point na to. And this point is actually nakadikit sila sa glass box, no? Nandito siya. So meaning nasa ceiling talaga siya dito sa glass box. So if I measure distances from here, parang ganyan. And this is at the midway point now. I measured and I draw parallel line. That is the location, the first one. And also create from here now. Ito. So we do the same. The midway point din siya. Tapos create a 30-degree line ulit. Pag ganyan. Yan yung second. Tapos yung dito naman yung tatlo. And again, we can only measure pagka primary axis, no, X, Y, and Z. So I can't measure this one, no. Bawal ko i-measure to kasi it's not in the primary axis. So to measure this one, kailangan ko i-measure yung distance na to. Ito. So yung this distance and this distance para mahanap yung location na to. So let's measure that. Para measure ko to. This one. Tapos measure ko din ito. So from here to here. Ganyan. And from there, so measure tayo plus pa ganyan. So ito, 30-degree line. And I'm using some shortcuts dito, no? Pero probably you've made your own system dito, no? Kung paano nyo na ma-map out yung sort of coordinate system, no? So essentially, I'm just finding the coordinates of these, ito mga points na to. Okay? So I can do the same for the other side. Ito, measure ko to. So I move this distance away, tapos this distance pa loob. Moving it pa loob, ganyan. And again, moving 30 degrees. Ganyan, let me remove the two circles. Yan. Right? So if I connect this one, 1, 2, 3, 4. I've made the first 4. Tapos kailangan ko lang dito sa kabilang side, which is, I think I can also do is extend the line here. Extend the line here. Tapos measure ko na lang yung same distance na to. Like so. And let's copy that. Make it parallel. Obviously, you'll be using your sliding triangles dito, no? And let me form this one. And let's form this one. Let's remove the guidelines. Okay, now we've formed the top part, and it's as simple as just connecting it to form the trapezoids. So, tapos ito, sa backside na kasi ito, so hindi na kailangan i-drawing, no? Kasi there are no, wala naman tayong, hidden lines pagka nagdo-drawing ng mga, ng isometric. And notice how, hindi ko na din-drawing yung sa bottom triangles dun sa kabilang side, no? Kasi, again, matatabunan na sila eh. So, I think okay na to. And pwede natin i-delete din tong mga lines na to, no? Kasi hindi na to kailangan. Para lang mas matulungan tayo sa imagination, let me itong glass box natin, let's change it to a different color, no? Para lang mas mas madaling i-imagine. Let's do a gray siguro na color. Parang ganyan. Para alam natin yung glass box lang siya. Right? So, starting to take shape na siya. Kulang na lang is yung triangle, which is nahanap na natin yung point na yun, no? Ito yung nahanap natin yung point. So, all of those points dito sa top hexagon, yung bang upper layer ng ano natin, trapezoid, all of them connects to the this bottom portion. So, the thing we need to do is pwedeng i-connect lang natin siya. This one connects here and di naman yan kita. Ito kita to. Ito kita din. Ito, hindi na rin kita. Okay, so if we trim, this is what the final answer should look like. If you look at it, and let me just delete the boundaries no para lang mas malinis. Final answer should look like, and let me trim. So this is the final answer. Right? So hopefully you've learned something in this video lecture. So medyo madali lang naman this because of the way the object is placed, no. Parang symmetrical kasi siya. Medyo madali lang siya. So we found the missing view, and again, I think because of the missing view has less restrictions, you are more free to choose kung ano yung imagination dito. Although in this particular case, parang symmetrical naman siya, the easiest imagination would be a symmetrical imagination pa rin naman. Right? So you have mahanap natin yung missing view natin given the two views. We did that by just simply projecting, and yung easiest methodology natin would find the first repeating na pattern, no, which is yung isang group of triangles na to and a trapezoid. Tapos once we did that, hanap natin yung other elements using parang a connect the dot approach, no. And from there, nabuo natin yung isometric drawing natin. Alright? So hopefully may natutunan kayo, and good luck sa exams tomorrow.